All right, happy big piece of chicken day to all the dads out here, whether you're an active dad or a sperm donor. Without you, there's no life. So I got the homie Club Fortune Club. How are you today?
I am good, Sly. How about yourself? And salute to everyone in the chat.
Yeah, I got no complaints, man. Let's get right into it. The political climate. Let's start here. Okay, you recently made the move from one state to another. I don't want to get into. You don't have to get into all the specifics. What was the last straw for you?
The last straw for me was the city right next, because I was located to a big city in the Chicagoland area, and and watching them going through Lori Lightfoot, terrible rain, and choosing an abysmal candidate, another abysmal candidate, and with them choosing an awful going against their political interest and seeing some of their toxic seepage onto where I was living at, which and it made me like, hey, I'm sick and tired of trying to vote for my own best interest and the best interest of the city when other people want to damage their way of life, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Take me back down memory lane. That Lori Lightfoot run. Who was the other candidates? And was the city duped into voting for Lori Lightfoot, or do you think they legit just voted against their best interests with her?
With Lori Lightfoot, I would say it was more of like optimism. That's because
Okay.
and forgive me, that's because it's definitely been a while, but Daley just retired, if I remember
Right,
correctly.
right.
And it was a whole bunch of fresh candidates. A whole lot of people were high on Lori Lightfoot. And then because I want to say I want to say there was Garcia. There was a Latino candidate that was
Okay.
also popular,
Okay.
but everyone liked Lori Lightfoot. They thought she could offer a whole lot more to the city, and it was one of those things where it's like, oh, you were so like the fresh optimism, but then once you kind of get into like a couple years in,
Mhm.
it's like it was like, oh no, this is no different than Daley or like some of the crooked aldermen in certain areas.
Okay, help me out because running for mayor, it's you kind of don't know what you're getting because you don't have an actual history of their voting policies per se, and it's kind of hard to track where they're going to go or what they align with. Did you feel that that's the case with Lori Lightfoot? Like she was, like you said, she was a fresh candidate, and nobody really had an inside track to how she would lean towards and how she would run it in administration. Is that fair to say?
That is very fair. That's because I can even go back to my last year of Evanston, trying
Okay,
to find a whole lot of groundwork and depth, actual depth on your candidates is a pain
okay,
because I remember going through Evanston, like seeing like their mayoral candidates, or even the water department, which you get to vote for there too, or even and also even some of the alternative party candidates. Their platforms were even hard to find.
okay. So, so is it safe to say like if you're a dark horse, I think running for mayor is probably your best way to get in per se. If people, it's hard to vet you. Like if you really want to get your feet into politics, I'm guessing running for mayor would be the best way because nobody has a rap sheet on you per se as far as what you are or what you align yourself with. Is that fair to say?
I would say more of go for alderman first, then
Okay,
shoot your
okay,
shot as mayor.
okay. I like that. Okay. Speaking of Evanston, DOJ is wanting to block the reparations. I can't really call it a reparations bill with the housing thing. It's just basically an upstart to give you some money to help you get a home, but it's not. I wouldn't consider it reparations.
I never really thought it was either, and to be honest, I didn't really think it was going to pass
Right. Right.
because
Okay.
typically with these bills, it's like you would have a little bit more depth to it, or even there's a bit of an end game, and I didn't really see much of that when the news first kind of broke out.
Yeah, because I remember it wasn't a hot topic, but then over time, I guess if you stumbled upon the story and then when I covered, I was like, this doesn't because you had to be born in a certain time frame for you to be eligible for it. I'm just like, that's not a lot of black people to begin with because Evanston is, I don't know correct me, 70, 80% white.
Yep,
Yeah, I haven't been up there since my sister went there. She graduated from my younger brother. So it's been a while since I've been in Evanston, but the last time I remember going up there, it was pretty lily white. So are you surprised
exactly.
the DOJ took this route against Evanston?
Nope,
Okay.
not at all. I mean, the DOJ has a very funny way of getting involved in the most random things
Uh-huh.
as opposed to actual issues.
Okay. Is that the sentiment that you feel of this current administration, or you've always felt that's how the DOJ's kind of operated?
Mm, I would say for the most part, that's the way I kind of view the DOJ has how they operated.
Okay.
That-
Okay. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
yeah, and the thing that I was gonna say was and we might go into this a little bit later, is that with the last couple administrations, I would say probably maybe like post Obama,
Okay.
it's like you have yourself it's like, oh, we voted one party in, and then we get sick of the party. Then we want the other party, and then and that's what I think is going to happen with this pretty much this Trump reign. It's like, oh, we're so sick of Trump, and everyone we're going to go to potentially the Democrats,
Right.
and it's going to be a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, it just feels like it's just overcompensating for when the pendulum goes too far to the left or to the right. It feels like everything Obama, if you feel he got stuff accomplished, is being undone, or the legacy that he left behind is somewhat trying to be, just trying to undo it. And now we're on the opposite side of the pendulum per se. Real quick, I want to get your take. Indiana, Illinois, they're neighboring states. Sometimes you can't tell the difference when you cross the border, depending on what hood you go to. How vastly different are their politics?
I would say it's fairly different. It's like they have a very conservative tilt. That's just like the area that I'm in. It's primarily conservative, and yes, you have certain hoods, but it's mostly conservative. And then you have like some of the small rich areas, which
Oh,
primarily have like conservative candidates. Go ahead.
so do you consider Indiana a conservative state?
I, I would say yes to an extent. That's because with like Northwest Indiana, a whole lot of people deem it as like Chicago light,
Right.
even though they still have their Republican candidates. Both the senators and both of our representatives in the area
Hmm.
are primarily Republicans, even
Okay.
though with certain wards they're like, yeah, Democrats. That's because my area, my state representative is a black woman. So
Okay. Are you happy with her so far?
so far I haven't had any beef with her, but I do have beef with a certain group in Hobart.
Okay.
That's because
I kind of know who you're talking about, but go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, but that's because one of the biggest things in Hobart is the data centers.
Okay.
There's been a whole lot of contention, debates. It's like oh, we don't want the data centers here.
Hmm.
It's kind of, and I would say it didn't pick up for me until September,
Hmm.
but around January, February, most of the board passed it with the mayor's cosign, and
Hmm.
then they ended up accelerating the construction process because as we speak, They're literally creating the Amazon data center as we speak.
So no city hall council meetings to at this
Uh,
point. I mean, it's pretty much a done deal. So the residents are pretty much stuck with it at this point.
at the moment, yes, that's because they did have like the council meetings.
Yeah.
I know they had one in January, which got very contentious from what I've heard.
Okay.
But they still primarily passed it. I know the initial approval was unanimous,
Oh
but
wow.
then there was a little bit of a small pushback with the construction, and it was like, and from reading, it was like, yeah, this pushback is a little bit too late
Okay.
because they were going to lose five. If I remember, it was a 5-3. They lost 5-3, and as far as like the approval.
Okay. Huh. Well, do you think that's a lack of awareness with the late pushback? Because I don't think most people even understand what a data center is. And then because you see signs all the time when they break ground, you just see the sign and you see an empty plot, and you see the
Yep.
sign say built by this construction. And most people are like, "What is that?" They don't even think about to ask what is being built here.
I would definitely say that. I would say with the greater Hobart area. And the other thing too is that I think certain people got enamored with like, hey, this is going to bring 400 jobs.
Jobs. Yeah. Okay.
But the counter to that is energy cost. I heard that there are some farmers that were concerned about the energy center taking resources, and also NIPSCO and energy cost. That's because NIPSCO is probably one of the bigger ops, for lack of a better term, as far as the area with like energy cost. And I never thought I would say this on a live stream or to anyone, but for some reason I miss ComEd.
Imagine that. Imagine that. I've never heard it. That's the first time I've ever heard anyone say misconduct.
Yeah, I mean, with NIPSCO, I mean, never in my life have I seen a $300 bill for a 1-bedroom apartment. Yes, it's winter, but hey, $300, or even one of my friends literally had to pay $500. So it's like, geez, it's like I know electric companies are a covert monopoly that nobody talks about, but
Yeah.
it's some sinister work.
The Bears moving to Arlington. I'm assuming it's pretty much a done deal. The NFL owners have to approve it, which I assume they would do it.
Yep.
How do you feel about that? Is that a smart move, good move, bad move?
With the Bears moving to Hammond, it just feels like a really weird move. In a sense, I get it. That's because I don't think they're going to lose too many fans because the Bears are still popular in the northwest side of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably all the way up to probably, I want to say, LaPorte County.
Okay.
That area.
Okay.
There's the area that, from what I've heard, they're going to move into in Hammond. It's a bit weird, but I can see how it would work out because it wouldn't be all that far from like the Dan Ryan.
Okay.
So there's that. The only problem that I have with like the whole stadium thing is just how messy and weird the process has been.
Well, not only that, you still left the Chicago residents with a stadium they're still paying for, if I remember correctly, right? That thing's not paid off, right?
Yeah, I want to say they're still paying off that, and as someone who's been to Soldier Field, it looked like crap from the outside. It's not as ugly on the inside, but
no, I mean, I remember they did some upgrades to it. I mean, I ain't been to Soldier Field. I mean, listen, I can still remember Comiskey Park when it was Comiskey Park.
Yes.
So Soldier, you know, Soldier feels almost like a rite of passage, man. And I feel like you moving the Bears to another. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine the Cubs
Oh,
moving? You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Yeah, it's like these are institutions that your grandchildren, you should be able to take your grandkids to. And
It, it,
if it's a tax issue, if it's a money issue, I'm more than sure the city would have been able to work something out.
exactly. And that's the main thing I hate, because Soldier Field, it is a beautiful stadium. Despite me not liking the upgrades, it's a beautiful stadium. And the other question that I kind of have is, what's going to be of the stadium after they move out? Because the Chicago Fire aren't going to play there anymore, because their owner, I want to say it was Miggs, the old Miggs Field. That's
Yeah.
where the Chicago Fire's new stadium is going to be.
Okay. Okay.
The Chicago Red Stars, they don't have the capacity, and that's the women's soccer team, by the way, the NWSL. The, you could use them, but they'd rather stay in Northwestern. They had that deal, and they're probably looking to move to a suburb with a population.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm trying to think, what else could Soldier Field be used for besides concerts?
Concert, yeah, I'll just say yeah, the concert. That's really about it. I don't know, man. It's an experience to go. For those that have never to go to Soldier Field, it's an experience in itself. I mean, it's one of those last great old stadiums, and
Exactly.
I mean, it's cold as hell. Like cold doesn't even describe.
It, it's a really beautiful stadium. It's no atmosphere like it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I literally went there last year for the Chicago Fire and the Red Stars, for like
Okay.
both of those games, and it's like, man, it's really beautiful. Just like the crowd, the seating. But
Talk to me about the soccer team. What's the vibe like there? Is it, do you see growth? Do you see renewed interest or growing interest in Major League Soccer in Chicago? Because we've always had it. And I don't think most people really understand that we've always had a Major League professional soccer team in Chicago.
yes, the thing is, the Chicago Fire, they're in a good place because they hired Greg. That's where Greg Berhalter is now.
That's where you went to. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because Chicago has finally found someone who has the vision. For the last, I want to say, ever since 2013, 2012,
Okay.
Chicago has been it's been a miserable ride as a Chicago Fire fan, man. I mean, so many failed designated player signings, so many coaches. There were coaches that I liked, but I hated the front office, the sporting director, or vice versa. But now that Berhalter is in there, they have a very competitive team. I would say top 5, top 7 soccer team in all of the MLS.
Okay.
They have a dedicated fan base, CF97. And the sky's the limit, because they're also going to bring in Lewandowski and Goretzka, who are legends in the Bundesliga, which is the German league.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they're older, but
now that's the problem I have. Like, it would help to grow the sport here in America to have these guys come over in their twilight, and not in their twilight, at their peak, like the same way the NFL, NBA does their games over there in Europe and in these other places. Like, you got these players in their peak, in their prime. It's a nice gesture, but I don't want to see an old man Messi. You know, when I'm sorry, Beckham went to Miami or wherever he went to. I'm just like, but he's old.
Yeah, and Sly, I definitely agree with you on that, but I have a little bit of pushback towards that.
Okay.
That's because the MLS over the last couple of years have gotten better with trying to bring in young, exciting imports. Like, for example, Miguel Almiron, who played for Paraguay in the World Cup.
Okay.
He as a 22-year-old, if I remember correctly, he came from South America, played for Atlanta, was Atlanta's one of Atlanta's best players, and also helped build their franchise there. And they've been able to, and with him, he was able to go off and play in the Premier League for
Mhm.
Newcastle, and he had actually a good run there. And the one thing I want the MLS to kind of focus on a little bit more of is having good young pieces and becoming kind of a feeder league for exports. Like it's like,
Okay.
hey, we have these nice young players who can play the game very well
Mhm.
and go forward. Like the Chicago Fire. There was a player a couple years ago, Gaga Slonina. He was a goalkeeper, and at the time, he was one of the. I would say he got signed by Chelsea, and Chelsea's a big team. And even though not many people know him at the moment, he's it's still kind of good press for the MLS. And he's one of those players who's kind of building through the ranks
Okay.
because what they do is like if you sign them, you sign some of the MLS players young.
Yep.
If they can stick in the Premier League, they'll go. But
Yep.
we can send them out for a loan for a couple of years and have them build their resume and then come back to us or get sold to another European big team.
Okay. Now the problem I see with that is, what's the upside for them to leave Chelsea, the premium, Juventus, to come to America? Because it's like, well, there's no real fan base there. There's no culture of soccer there. You know what I'm saying? So you would have to present them a huge, huge upside for them to leave those premier clubs to come here to play for America.
Um, which I would understand. And the counter I would have to that is we don't have promotion and relegation. I know a whole lot of people in the US have pushed, oh, we need promotion relegation to make the game fun. And it's like, no, that's not realistic. No owner worth his doggone salt is going to take the risk of getting demoted to a second league,
Right.
have the casuals walk away,
Right.
and be willing to lose money on the fly like that.
Right.
Being in a league where it's no promotion relegation, you have 32 teams slugging it out for being the best. That's more that's more unique as opposed to, oh, you're going to a different league in which you have to deal with promotion and relegation
Mhm.
and having to potentially move to a different club because you don't want to be a part of a relegation team and having to deal with the hope of like, hey, I want to our team might come back to the Premier League, or they
Mhm.
may get knocked down another peg like Leicester City.
Mhm.
And the other thing too that and this may sound cynical, but we're not going to be a Europe. We're not going to be a England or Germany, a Spain or Italy. In order to be those leagues, a whole lot of structural change from the youth side will have to happen, which I don't think is going to be. And on
Okay.
top of that,
What does that
oh,
look
I'm
like,
sorry.
though? No, but when you say that, what does that look like? From the youth side.
I would say from the youth side is bringing. I would say bringing in players a little bit more younger,
Okay.
actually having a legitimate academy.
Okay.
Um, I would say it's either scrap the college system or find a way to have the college system have value. Because one of the big things with the MLS that's a glaring thing to me was the MLS draft, in which that structure has not been useful since maybe in the mid 2010s
Mhm.
because because most of the players that get drafted don't even make it to the first team. They get relegated to MLS's Next
Right.
Pro, which is their developmental league.
Right. Right.
and
Right.
and
Right.
and some of the players don't even, because of roster politics, don't even get a fair or true shake.
Okay. Here's my suggestion. I would. You have to mirror what Europe has done. You would have to create a league outside of college. One step away from scrapping the college system. You got players. You know why? you're gonna let it turn into what baseball's turned into, a bunch of Latinos and Dominicans and
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans. Those are I see white kids play soccer, but it ain't nothing like these Latino kids. Like they live and breathe this shit. You understand? And I think part of the problem is they don't want to have an influx of just Latino players be the sole representation for U.S. soccer. I think that part of that is some racism there, but that's
Yep.
the only shot you got.
I I agree with that, and I'm glad you brought that up because it brings me to another thing, which one of my old fraternity brothers, he played soccer in college, and
Okay.
me and him were chopping it up with soccer, and he mentioned that America needs to have their own system.
Yeah.
We need to not really stop imitating the Europeans or the Asians or the South Americans. We have to come up with our own style of soccer
hmm
instead of trying to imitate everybody else.
Yeah, I just like the way Europe has its feeder system set up. That's all I would say. I say take a bit of from that as your part of your structure base, and just create your own farm system. Unfortunately, the majority of your kids are not going to look like little Billy and Tommy, and you know what I'm saying, and Wiley. They're going to look like Raul and Jimena. You know what I'm saying? Like
I,
even the girls. Listen. I can't put into words how passionate these kids when it comes to soccer. Like their parents instilled that shit into them, you know.
yes.
And I just think Americans, for the most part, don't want to see a bunch of brown kids whooping ass, for the USA. And then Tom feel like, well, Tom Jr. doesn't get a shot. I was listening to a podcast, Landon Donovan.
Yep.
I can take or leave him. He's bitching because his 8-year-old didn't get bumped up with his friends to the next AAU league. I simply said, well, maybe your kids aren't good enough. And
Exactly.
the white folk came for me. But he's telling his story about how he had to break it to his son, like, oh, we got to find a way to tell my son that he can't play with his friends because his friends are a little older and they made the cut at the next, I think, 12 to 13 bracket. And his son's like 8. I'm just like, your kid's not good enough.
It, in which I agree with that. That's because every other league has that. Because I remember an old YouTuber, well, technically not really an old YouTuber that I watch from time to time, Stunted Growth, made this very good point. And I'll use the basketball system for example: high school, AAU, college, and then the league.
Yeah.
They have the barriers in place to weed out either the mentally weak with the off the field stuff,
Yeah.
or the players that they may have some talent, but they're not good enough to play at this level.
Yeah.
And that's the reality with some of these things, with that structure. And with soccer, it's no different because I remember a documentary I saw. I mentioned academy players. That's because you have I want to say once you get up to like the U18s,
Mm-hmm.
between the U18s and U22s, they say, hey, it's either you're good enough, we're going to have you on to our U22 or U21 team, or it's like, hey, we appreciate what you've done, but you're not good enough,
Not enough.
or it's like, we appreciate you, but you just didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
In which that's the reality of sports. You're just going to have some people that are better than you.
Yeah. Yeah, listening to him tell his story, son, I'm just like, okay, this is a clear-cut case of this is not a system problem. It's your son's not good enough. And man, them white folk jumped my ass in the comments. I was like, what did I say? I just, you know what I'm saying? That's what it
Yep.
is. I gotta find that clip, and not when I get a chance to find it out, I'll play it. But yeah, I just think the majority of Americans don't want to see brown kids represent them. Let me get your
True.
take on the men's team, U.S. team. How you feeling about them? I love them. I'm in love with those guys.
Things I really like them, and I know you're not fond of Pochettino, but
Oh my God! Listen,
but I like him. That's because I follow his journey since Tottenham.
okay,
The man has made a lot out of a little. It's just the reason why he never won a championship at Tottenham is because the the front office, Daniel Levy, didn't give him any money for transfers.
Okay.
And then when they fired him, that team hasn't been the same since and almost got relegated.
Okay.
And then with PSG, with them, it's like expectations. And also, when you have so many superstars, they don't, how can I say this? They don't need a coach, but for a lack of a better term, they
Okay.
just need a game manager. And with the American team, they have someone who's going to implement them in the system and be willing to test things out. And because I know because he has a good, and I love that the team is mixed of a whole lot of players. You have OGs like Team Rim, but you also have exciting guys like Tim Weah and Zendejas, and even some MLS guys like my guy Chris Brady. He's been putting in work for the Chicago Fire for years,
Okay.
and also and I do agree with you that Matt Freeze or Chris Brady should have been implemented a year or two later because Matt Turner is,
He's old,
I want to
man.
say,
He ain't got it.
well, for one, he's old, and two, also that bad year at Nottingham
Yeah.
is still messing with him.
Yeah.
I can tell.
To this day. You're right.
But I do love the roster because it's just a great mix of players and they're playing together. And yes, someone's gonna say, but hey, you guys, you're our group is fairly easy, in which I had to give some pushback for because Australia and I want to say Turkey, before Turkey dropped the ball, were ranked within the top 25 of FIFA.
Yeah, I don't take those arguments serious when they say it's an easy. There's no easy group. They're all the best of the best, whatever the case may be. Here's why I don't like Pochettino. Pochettino to me feels like Steve Kerr. Before Steve Kerr, Doc Rivers put that squad together, and Doc Rivers was not allowed to enjoy the fruits of his labor. That's how I feel
Actually,
about
Mark Jackson.
Berhalter. Half those guys on the roster Berhalter had already. And I just felt like they didn't give him enough time to put it all together. I don't know why Diego Luna is now on this team. It's almost a slap in the face because he was the face, heart, and the soul of that team the last 2 years in their friendly play. It just feels like Pochettino is reaping the benefits, the Steve Kerr effect. He's a scrappy player. He's like the Brad Gilbert of soccer, just he never quit, never say die attitude. But, skill wise, he's not a Ronaldinho and none of that shit. But I'm happy for him. I thought Berhalter deserved another shot to see him put his pieces together,
And that I agree with. And the only reason why Berhalter left was because of some weird, cheap scandal in which, again with these soccer federations, it's like cheap, unnecessary outside scandals always finds a way to get someone cooked. It's like so we fired him for that. Don't get me wrong, I like Pochettino, but
yeah.
I think Berhalter is that guy. But and also Berhalter was I think he was kind of a victim of, I would say, trying out various American coaches, because with the previous coaches, they were like retreads, like Bruce Arena, Bob Bradley. It's like coaches who were great at one time in the MLS, but always found a way to burn out.
Okay, gotcha.
And on a side note, I do agree Diego Luna should have stayed. I personally think Gio Reyna should have probably been left out. But
either him or I don't know if it's Pepe or Poppy.
Oh, Pepe.
He doesn't have somebody.
I mean, with Pepe, I get. I mean, Pepe is a face, and also he's in a very good development. I wouldn't say developmental, but I would say the second tier, not second tier, but good but not elite league in the Dutch league, the Eredivisie.
Yeah.
So I get why they did why Pepe's there, but I understand why people might not be fond of his play.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's my same complaint. Yeah, you spot on with that. Okay, let's go and get to the federal politics. Cheesy man. What should Black folk do when it comes to voting moving forward? Oh wait! No, let me stop. Let me stop. That's not fair. Let's say that for later. Should Black women and Black men vote as a collective or vote for their best separate interests? Let's go there.
I collective. I'd say they're better off voting as a collective.
But dude,
Well, but the Nigerian enemy says collective, but Club Fortune himself says we're just gonna have to do this individually because at Red Sings the Blue said it best: Black men, you have no friends. You are on your own.
okay. And, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're about to ask a question.
Okay. If let's say that is true, Black men, they're on. We all we got. Okay. Then are you telling me, because the history of voting tells us the Democrat Party has not been fond or kind to Black men, Republican Party openly pretty much has told you we really don't need y'all, so there's really nothing over here for you. What are Black men to do?
The thing that I would do, and I said this to a friend a couple weeks ago, one of my close friends who, funny enough, he was a felon in his past life, but he's grown. I've said we're gonna have to attack locally.
Okay.
We're gonna have to rebuild locally, then build through the state, then build nationally.
Okay.
And the best way I can say it is, like, we're gonna have to do the long rebuild to get back some political power to build us up, because
we're not built like that. We're not our parents.
Unfortunately, Sly, you are right. I know a lot of people want to be black pills and, excuse my French, rudipumic sad asses and cry about women, cry about opportunity, cry about their NBA 2K25 not working. But unfortunately, it's like the Manichaeans. In order to get pleasure, you are going to have to go through some pain.
This is true.
You're gonna have to do the grunt work.
Okay.
And also as a man, and also on top of that, being a man, and funny enough with Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Being a man is a thankless task. You're not gonna get patted on the back or get revered for doing the grunt work. At times you're gonna get cursed out, and you're gonna have people say, not understand your vision, but you're gonna have to rebuild and attack locally before you go nationally.
Is that part of the problem, that these younger men want credit, they want recognition, they don't want to be viewed as a tool or a light switch?
I would say that's part of the problem. The other problem that I also see too is that a lot of people, they want the easy way. A whole lot of people want it easy. They think, oh, I want the shortcut. I want the free ride. When in reality, in real life, there's not really a such thing as a free ride.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest awakenings back in college was that I've always said that people have the following things: an opinion, a bright side, a dark side, and a price. Okay. There's a price to everything. There's no such thing as free. Even on certain things that say it's free, there's always a cost associated with it. Like anyone who has T-Mobile Tuesday, they may say, "Hey, you may get like a free pizza or a free drink." Sometimes they may have attachments where it's like, "Oh, you got to spend a certain amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
or you have to use your gas to drive to that place to get that free thing."
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that I'm seeing with the man is with I'm not say the mofos across the street, but with a lot of the dudes that complain, it's like they want a free and easy ride, and it's like that's not how life works.
Let me ask you. I don't have numbers in front of me, but it seems to me more women are involved in politics. We're talking black women. Um, does it seem like it's more black women involved in politics? And if that is the case, why is that so? And then on top of that, you can't get mad at how they vote because they took the chance to risk and they put in the effort to run for these positions to get the results. And you expect them to want to vote for your best interests when you don't align with them. Is that fair to say?
I would definitely say that's a fair assessment. That's because even growing up, I've seen like more and more black women go for political positions.
Okay.
Like I remember before I moved out to Indiana in Evanston, a whole lot of the ballot that I saw a black woman running for the water department position. I saw a couple running for judge. I saw a couple running for alderman. And even growing up, one of the wards in Chicago where my dad used to be he was a landlord. Rest in peace to him. And one of the apartments, the last three aldermen were black women, and and ironically enough, one of the women was Jesse Jackson's daughter-in-law. But I'm gonna leave that story alone.
Oh,
But
okay.
but yeah, I've definitely seen quite a bit of women getting into the political field, and it's like they built a lane, and who would I be trying to impede in their lane when when they built something, they have their base narrative and things like that,
Right.
as opposed to oh, since they never really reach out to us or want us in their lane, I think it's better to just do our own thing and just build from scratch.
Okay. Okay. Have we gotten to a point where I've always said the freedom thing is a problem. Once you give black folk freedom, it's complete disarray. Um, yeah, free will, freedom, whatever the case may be. Do you ever see black folk, men and women, ever coming back as a collective, like we were under Jim Crow, chattel slavery? Do you ever see that ever taking place ever again?
There, there's part of me that says no on a grand scale, but there's another part of me, and I've seen this on the Nigerian side, where it's like black men and black women having to come together and build their own wave, if that makes sense.
I don't see that happening. My thing is, um, if we all agree that politics eventually corrupts the politician, if that's a no brainer, no matter what color, race, gender the person is. So you have a bunch of black women that get into politics and they show that they're corrupted as well. Then it's
Mm.
like the men are complaining. Well, they're like, well, see, these black women are no good. Wait, politicians across the board are no good.
Exactly.
So if we, yeah, I don't understand the criticism. Like if we understand that you get into this long enough, you will turn to the dark side, and you have a
Yes.
bunch of people that said, you know what, I want to do something. I want to, steer my own ship, and they fall to the dark side. It's like, what are you mad at? What's the critique?
It the problem is I think people just don't understand how optics work
Okay,
or understand the state of politics, because I mean, there's an eye in politics, for crying out loud. Politicians are going to do for selves, and then for the people that donated and contributed. And I'm not talking about voting in the polls. I'm talking about donated a whole bunch of money to their campaign.
Okay.
And on top of that, a whole lot of politicians are, once they get a sniff of that power, they're going to do everything and anything to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not sure if you or anyone else remember this. Barack Obama's second term. I remember with the Goyness, what the rainbow community, aka the Goyness. During his first term, he wasn't for them.
That's right.
And also technically through that Pastor Wright under the bus, but
Jeremiah Wright.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And then come his second election, he lost some of his votes with white men, with the white population.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to turn to the LGBT community, and they had to use their political power to say, hey, we'll help get you in. We know Mitt Romney's not going to work with us, but we need you to make sure that you help us in passing the same-sex marriage bill,
Mm-hmm.
in which that ended up happening, in which Barack went a little bit against his standards to survive another 4 years. And you see this all across the board, whether it's the Dalton Mayor Tiffany Haynyard claiming that she's for the people, but she rather trick and flex in Vegas as opposed to fixing up Dalton and getting rid of those awful places that cause depression, aka boarded up stores or strip malls, or even having corrupt politics so bad it reminds you of Nigeria. But and my bad. The only thing I'm gonna say about this too is that I think people think that we vote you in, you have to do what we have to do. I think people have that perception.
Okay.
It's like, hey, we vote you in, you have to make sure that you do for us, as opposed to having any true consequences of not following up on promises, because you've seen too many politicians go behind the back of their voter base and no consequences happen. Gavin Newsom survived 2 recalls.
Two.
Yes. Mike, our Illinois Governor Mike Quinn, I personally think he was involved in the Blagojevich stuff.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
But yet people still voted and let him in. And that whole tenure was a whole lot of nothing. But
man, people don't really people don't understand how, like, when you talk about corrupt politicians, like Illinois is top of the list. If they're not top 2, you know, people just have no clue. I mean, I go back to George Ryan. I was cool with his family, and then Blagojevich. It's like it's standard. Like, it's not a real politician unless he does something corrupt.
Exactly. Or even like the Beaver family. Todd Stoger's son. Jesse Jackson Jr. And funny, and I did mention his sister-in-law, Sandra Jackson, who was an alderman for one of the old neighborhoods my dad was a landlord of. She went to jail along with Messy Jackson Jr. because of the whole Blagojevich seat.
Okay.
Or even one of the Alderman Beavers. I want to say it was him. I'm trying to remember if it was him or I know his daughter went to jail because of some political stuff. I want to say he went to jail too, but then again, the corruption is so deep. It's like it's literally so you lose track of it. It's like
Yeah, I just don't. I just don't think people really have an idea. Like, people think like, oh, what Gavin is doing. Gavin is nothing compared to what, just the laundry list of corrupt Illinois politicians. Like, I'm surprised Pritzker hasn't been hit with something at this point. Um, that's why I want to ask you, why do black folk like Pritzker so much?
To be, I'll be honest, like I have no idea. I I, I don't know. Maybe the George Clinton, maybe the Bill Clinton effect has long lingering effects. It's like, hey, we think JB Pritzker's like he's like Bill Clinton.
Oh, they
He has a
love
smile where
Pritzker, man.
he doesn't wear a tie. It,
They love Pritzker, man. Like, it's like, y'all do see what he's doing. Yeah, but I like him. I just like, and I get it, because it's the same way with Gavin Newsom. It's like, yeah, I know what he does, but I like him. It's like, I get it. I get it.
exactly. Or even with with this new mayor, I, with Johnson versus Paul Vallis at the
Mhm,
time.
mhm.
I literally viewing them, and I was like, I can't believe this. I know the Panini Africanism are going to be on my neck, but y'all gotta vote Paul Vallis. That's because
Uh-oh.
I don't trust Brandon. I do not trust the mayor. And look and behold, Johnson gave migrants stipends.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did an abhorrent job of trying to keep the Bears in Chicago or even Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, and also, granted, part of this is not completely on him, but the constant increase of red light cameras, the teen takeovers,
Okay.
and not really any active solutions. And it's like, yeah. I literally saw this coming. I saw this coming a mile away, but people continue to vote against their own political interest, or, and it's just like, you know what, man, I'm sick and tired of trying to vote against the grain.
Okay.
Try to vote for your best interest. Let me just get up out of here, move to Indiana, enjoy a change of pace, and also finally enjoy the labors of a one bedroom. So
What you guys is what's Indiana's tax rate now?
their tax rate is set. I want to say it's 7. Are you talking about sales tax or?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sales tax. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, sales tax is at 7%.
Illinois is what?
I
Illinois
want
is
to say
right behind California, if I remember correctly.
what's in the little bit? Dang, hold on.
Let me go.
Hold on one second.
Let's go do some
Actually,
homework.
I got it. Thank God. Thank gosh for having a second thumb. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let me see.
4.95% is
Hold on.
the flat rate.
Let me see. Indiana sales tax rate.
Let's see.
Yep, Indiana's tax rate is 7, and then
Illinois
Illinois.
6.25.
Uh, yeah, pretty much the base. Yeah, it's like 6.25, but in certain areas, it's like up to 11.
Oh, up to 11. Yep. Okay. Um, is it safe to say that black mayors of any city are just placeholders at this point? Because I can't recall any real black mayor having any real power. I don't know. I guess maybe
Harold
since
Washington.
yeah, and then even then, and then when he died, they brought in, who was Eugene Brown. Was that his name? He was some
I want to say yes.
wimpy ass dude, but we were so happy he was another black man. Um, yeah, I would say no real power since Harold Washington like that.
True, and on top of that, even some of the black mayors that had power behind them always found a way to leave egg on our faces, whether it was Kwame Kilpatrick or
Marion
Keisha Lance
Barry, yeah, Keisha
Bottoms.
Lance Bottoms, yeah. Wait, she's running for what is she running for? Senate down there?
I want to say, yes.
She has a good chance of winning.
Or was it a governor or something along those lines?
Take a look. Let me take a look. She has a good chance of winning down there, man.
Oh yeah, governor. It was the governor. It was for the governor.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean she's bounced back pretty good, I think, given what she's been through the last couple of years.
That is true. Yeah, because I know that she worked for the Biden. I want to say the Biden administration because I
Yep.
know that she was in the White House for a good minute.
Yep. Yeah, she could be the nation's first black governor.
I,
Yeah. I think she might pull that shit off, bruh.
I mean, hey, time heals most wounds and
Yeah.
certain sins. That's the great thing with the political game. That's because I did hear a rumor that Rahm Emanuel may be looking to get back to the Chicago mayoral race.
You think he should?
Hmm. I would say yes. It's worth a shot. I mean,
Okay.
Obama is still beloved in Illinois,
You
so
think Obama ever comes back to Illinois politics, or he's done? Like he's done like with everything.
I think he's done because I don't think he really has anything else left to prove. I mean, he he has a solid reputation beyond the city
Mhm.
because his new center.
Yeah, I just seen the opening and the speeches and stuff. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yep, and funny enough, one of my new coworkers, family members, I want to say wrote a song for the center
Wow.
that he used.
Okay.
Yeah, and he worked with Eddie Vedder. Well, no, she worked with Eddie Vedder.
From Pearl Jam?
Yep,
Wow.
I,
That's
I,
dope.
I couldn't believe it, but I'm like, hey, shout out to her, especially working with a legendary band like Pearl Jam.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, yeah, but I would say with Barack Obama, I mean he's still popular and respected, considering that Biden and Trump are not really viewed highly. And
Okay. Okay. So who do you think they picked to run against Newsom and whoever in 2028?
huh,
Because I can't see it being JD Vance, even though all of a sudden he wants to flip on Israel. I don't.
I,
It. If people were genuinely upset at this administration, you would turn on everybody that's ever been
it,
associated with Trump. Everybody. So you know what I'm saying? In real terms, JD Vance should never be mentioned for a presidential nomination. Like, sir, you were his VP. Like, the hell with you. Like, that's a real. You know what I'm saying? Like, a real boycott would be like, the hell with all of them that ever had anything to do with his administration. But who do you think the picks would be?
I'm I heard this name spinning around. I heard Rubio. Rubio may be someone who may be the fallback plan if JD Vance becomes too radioactive.
Okay.
That's the only person I could think of. That's because they blew it with DeSantis. And again I've said this, and gonna keep on saying it. DeSantis should not have ran along Trump that year
Agreed.
because he would have kept his mystique and status. And then with what's currently going on right now, DeSantis would have been able to swoop in and become for lack of a better term, a white savior for the party.
Mm-hmm.
Which and with his crash, it reminds me of Howard Dean in a
Okay.
sense, because it's like Howard Dean should have waited another year and would have been the white savior. And I know people don't like that term, but that's how I kind of view it as. It's like you have to with certain politicians, you have to pick your spots.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing when your party is low, you can pick them up, or knowing when to throw your chips and cash in, like go all in.
Mm-hmm.
And the only politician that I could maybe think of is Rubio. That's because I people thought Abbott was once considered a guy, and I'm like, no, Abbott's is fine. I think his peak is where he's at now.
Okay.
Um, and all the other Republicans, like the ones in the Senate, are primarily rhinos and what I like to call Chucky Finster politicians. It's like a whole bunch of scaredy cats, a whole bunch of people that can't stand on nothing.
Mhm.
Even someone like Rand Paul, I would have thought Rand Paul would have been a nice candidate for down the road, but it's
Okay.
like, but since he's in the senator and in the muck of the Republican things,
Mhm.
the backlash really made me think. Yeah, I don't mind Rand. He can challenge his own party, but
Mhm.
he just does not have he just wouldn't really have the base
Gotcha.
or the support behind him. So
Okay. Okay. I want to switch gears real quick. I think you're the only person I could really ask and talk to about this topic. Okay, the whole Godfrey, and I don't know who his co-host name is, and the David Oye Lobo kerfluffle. Just what is your take on just I don't know the whole Black Brit, Black American acting roles, um the Niger um aspect of it. Man, what does this shit look like to you? Okay, what does it look like to you? And what do you see in your reality when it comes to these topics?
as far as these topics goes, with someone like me, I don't have beef with me. I never really had beef with like Black Americans and the Africans. Being as someone who is a first generation American, the whole FBA versus Tether versus ADOS talk to me was I thought it was kind of silly. I don't want to say silly as like just dismissive, but it's like to me it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But as far as like that particular scenario, I personally thought David did a little too much. It's like, bro, you just did a job. There's no need to try and mimic Black Americans, trying to paint them as inferiors. And then with Godfrey and I want to say the co-host was Akbar Gibi Amila. I want to say he was an NFL player. Um, the inferior one, by the way, because his brother was a lot better, but he went religiously crazy. Subject for a whole nother day. But but as far as Godfrey, come on, man, Godfrey's well. Let me not curse. Godfrey is just he's a clown. I'm like, bro, if you really are serious on the African tip, how come you are not talking to Nollywood, considering that Nollywood is a top 3, top 5 in gross revenue with Hollywood?
Okay.
And and the whole and as far as Africans go, they don't care. That's because it's like we're building our own lane in Nigeria.
Hmm.
It's the what I like to call the the Siditi sector of Africans that are trying to put too much into this.
Okay.
Like like seeing a whole enclave of them, like it's like, hey, you guys are just taking the black roads because it's convenient and kind of settling for less to a certain extent.
Okay.
But but then again, I can't knock those actors for taking the job.
Well, yeah, it's easy to punch on them because yeah, I get that part of it. You're gonna do what you're gonna do because you got bills and whatever the case may be. Should so I would say that our I guess our anger is pointed at the wrong person. We should be
Yes.
upset at the casting directors, those that hire these people, those particular studios that like to push those type of narratives. But because, like I've said, we had no real power to really hurt them, it's easy to go after the actors that take the roles.
Yep, I would, and that's my primary position of it. But another thing I wanted to add is some of those families of those, like for example, Selma with the Martin MLK's family.
Mhm.
So and my response is, so you're telling me that you're over here fighting for your father, grandfather's legacy, but yet you all did not lay out a guideline and standard of rules for people that want to do biopics of your father.
Mm. Good point.
Just because let's be real, family estates will put their foots down.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimi Hendrix,
classic
uh,
case.
Marvin Gaye, even though for the record that they can go to hell because they should have never won that blurred lines lawsuit. But I'm gonna leave that. But again,
we agree.
yeah.
We're in agreement. Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to say there was and I want to say there was another family that put the kibosh on a documentary because they didn't like the way it was running. I'm trying to I want to say it might have been Teddy Pendergrass's family estate. I'm trying to remember. There was another black family that put the kibosh on a documentary because they didn't like the casting or the way it needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But I would give some small pushback for certain families for not defending their like certain black legends honor or estates.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Nina Simone thing. I could say like so you're just gonna give a cheeky Twitter response as opposed to any real blowback or having the studio and the estate shut this down with the swiftness.
Mm-hmm.
Because and not to veer off too much, but Zoe Saldana is a fame whore, and she sold her soul for getting an Oscar for Emiliano Perez, which got worst movie, which I don't know how that movie got.
Yeah. Hey, you ain't seen that trans person? They kicked her out of Hollywood so fucking fast.
Yeah. and apparently people.
This is Hollywood.
And I'm like, wait a second. So that didn't get a Razzie, but a Coppola movie did. But
man,
I mean, that day it's like I've seen it all. Yeah, and now I've seen it all. But just
so
with
these are
that,
not conversations you're hearing in everyday regular life in your comings and goings.
No.
Okay.
It's like it's seen, but it's not. It's one of those conversations I don't really hear a lot of pushback on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's more internet conversations than anything.
Yes, in which more and more of these things I'm starting to see. It's gotten to be more of these more internet conversation based as opposed to real life because there's no real impact or actual effect to a certain extent. Because I know that some movies they do flop because of the poor casting.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed some interviewers will, listen to the internet and be like, okay, let's see what they're talking about. They'll ask an actor. I mean, we all go to the Samuel L. Jackson response, like, okay, that was a good start, but it's pretty much died down since then. Like as far as the black actors being asked this question as part of the interviewing process, like it seems like the fans are being flamed mainly just by regular internet folk and not so much in the real world.
Exactly, and it reminds me of the whole marriage argument. If you don't mind me,
yeah, please, yeah.
You have a lot of gender war hacks, as I like to call them, talk about marriage is this, marriage is that, blah blah blah. Pretty much trying to downplay everything like that. And don't get me. And as a side note, if you don't want to do marriage, that's fine. Free will, free reign, as I say.
Exactly.
You don't need to advertise it or try and get other people to join your circle jerk of opinions.
Yeah.
But In the real world, a good chunk of people still value marriage. Um, I have two uncles and my dad. They've been divorced before,
Okay.
and what I like to call the Nigeria to American woman pipeline.
Okay.
If K's in here, I'm not sure he might know what I'm talking about. Their first wives were American and got divorced, but then they went back and married an African woman, and
Happily ever after.
exactly. Or in my case, for my father, God rest his soul, married two American women, and then chose it's a well, no, two American women, one African woman, and then fourth time's a charm.
Okay.
But
Okay.
and even on and to even add to that, my two previous job, my current job that I just started and my previous job that I did for 2 months. My previous job, I had to get mentored by two women, like for the
Mm,
onboarding process.
interesting.
One was a white woman who was married to her man for 20 plus years, and this is on their second marriage.
Okay.
And then and then the other coworker just turned 21, a young black woman, and she was married, and it's like, oh, I'm like, hey, we just celebrated our 2-year marriage anniversary.
Okay.
And funny enough, that office, which was like five people, I was the only one who wasn't married. And it's
Um,
like, all these people talking about anti-marriage
yeah.
and make their pockets hurt and stuff like that. It's like, I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, yeah, these mofos are living in fantasy land because I've seen people get divorced, do marriage again, or even my current job. I had 3 HR people, and then it was me and 7 other new hires. And let me see, and it was 5 women. All 5 of those women meant, like, as far as like things that they like to do for fun,
Mhm.
they mentioned doing something with the husband, whether it was like camping, gaming. And one of the HR people mentioned, like, hey, me and my husband are expecting, or like, hey, me and my husband, we do hikes together. And
Imagine
it's
that.
like,
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I that yeah, my reality is not what is on the internet, and I just wish people would just I don't know,
touch
take a deep breath and just go outside. I don't know.
exactly. I mean, take a deep breath, touch grass, pound pavement, feel sand. It's like a whole lot of these internet arguments are just energy consumption.
Okay. Are there any internet arguments that you think that you would deem valid?
Hmm. I would hmm. I would say with old heads gotta go.
Okay.
That's because I've seen a whole lot of elders, give bad advice or make decisions that sabotage the future for the youth.
Well, you know what's funny? I see both black and white have a total disdain for boomers. It's not just us. Like
Yeah.
everybody, like Gen X and millennials, like have a whole disdain for boomers. And I don't understand because the boomers wouldn't have nothing if the silent generation didn't leave anything for them. What do you think that came from? Why do you think the boomers are trying to die with the money in the casket?
Huh. You- it's one of the few things that I haven't been able to figure out for years. Like, because I was asking myself this question. It's like, what made them want to kick the ladder, make them want to destroy the ladder and stay at the top?
Right.
And I initially thought it was like, oh, you know what? I think it's just because of like maybe bad parenting, which some of it is because they're because I remember talking to some, there are certain boomers that I talk to, and it's like, I'm like, oh, so your kids are mess ups, and this is why you're in the situation that you're in. But for the life of me, I have not really been able to find a true concrete answer
Mhm.
because the silent generation gave Gen X dang near everything. Get
Everything.
and then the boomers literally not giving it, pretty much working till they die, pretty much shortening the workforce for both Gen X and
Right.
millennials.
Right.
Um and then want to turn around and blame those same people for not having ambition or anything like that. And
Mhm.
even though your actions have helped create a very dark and gloomy road for millennials, Gen X, and even young Gen Zers.
Okay. Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel for these last two generations, for Z's and Alphas and the young millennials, as far as economics?
If if TurboTax, my 5 months stint at TurboTax taught me anything, no. It's like it's not going to be good because I don't see less and less jobs having pensions,
Hmm.
um people getting into, I know there are jobs that offer 401ks and Roth IRAs, but not meant, but they're not really going to get much from it, especially with how crooked the stock market can be,
Hmm.
especially with a trillionaire putting your 401ks at risk,
Hmm.
but most people don't realize that. And even some of the constant downgrade of Medicare with my own eyes. It's like,
Oh, that's the worst. I think that's one of the worst things that has happened. I don't think people really realize how expansive and how many people were under Medicare. I just,
yep. I mean, yep. With what states literally trying to limit Medicaid, and then with the Medicare process and all the chaos that's it's ensued,
Mhm.
and also people trying to get in the dual system, and that dual system has been trying to add more regulations,
Mhm.
and also trying to make sure, hey, it's not about helping you, it's about making sure that we give you what we give you.
Right.
It's like, hey, you're only eligible for this level. Hey, you're only eligible for that level, and we can't really give you anything else.
It's crazy. I feel bad for these kids, man, because they ain't gonna. It's not even them not being able to afford it. It's just you'll never know the satisfaction of ownership, of saying, okay, this is mine. I don't want to hear all the
It,
arguments with the property tax. Fuck all that. Okay. At the end of the day, is these young folk will have no real sense of accomplishment. You know, they
exactly.
won't have no pride in anything because there's nothing for them to have a piece of. And I think that is just a sad existence in my
It
eyes.
it really is, and it hurts like a mofo because I remember the satisfying feeling when I paid off my first car.
Okay.
And just the feeling and excitement, and also my mother, she recently paid off her house,
Okay. Nice.
and the pride and happiness that I saw in her. It's like, and I'm like, dang, I'll, my generation and a whole lot of people beyond are not really going to get that satisfaction because of the economic warpath that a whole lot of people created.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just sad, but and to even add to that too, it's like you have a whole lot of people pushing, hey, go into this industry, hey, go into that industry, and
Hmm.
it's like, you know, that's nice and all, but typically when that happens, it's like you have an overflow.
Hmm.
You have an overflow of people trying to get into this industry because they think it's easy, whether it's so on some false hope stuff, or it's like, hey, you can get in, but there's kind of like an additional attack, like additional attachment.
Mhm.
And it's like, and the thing is, it's like, yes, the younger generation can find their own ways of fun, but the thing, but it, they shouldn't have to be heavily struggling like this. Like
Yeah,
just
no, I'm with you. I think if you're ever going to consider having kids nowadays, you better have all your ducks in a row. You better be able to lead them with something. If they even have a chance in at survival at in this next juncture of humanity. I just Yeah, man, the
yep.
days of kind of being carefree and shit, those days are over. You better have
Oh
a
yeah,
plan, a backup plan, an alternate
yep,
plan, and because this could, affect one's survival, especially the next generation. I think we owe it to them to set them up to prepare them to have a leg up. But I think just
exactly,
boomers, I just don't understand where that shit came from, man. Like they act like they got it out the mud. Like, no, you motherfuckers had help, you know. But
exactly. It's like you went from hippie era to super
yeah.
stooge. It's like, hey, you guys are taught us to be rebellious, taught us to, be our own man, the free will, peace
Yeah.
and love, and it's like, maybe like within like 20 years or something along those lines, it's like you all decided to abandon that and just
Suit
go,
and tie. Yeah.
yep.
Wow, I didn't even think about it. It was the hippie. Yeah, that's them. God damn.
It,
They were the
it
main
was like,
ones. No more wars and the hell with
yep.
Vietnam and oh my god.
Yeah, it was like they preached peace, but then they became the warmongers. I'm like, irony's a mofo, isn't it?
Damn.
Uh,
Yeah, when you put it like that, that's crazy. That's crazy.
oh,
Last topic. I had to ask the question a while back. I said if people could afford to leave the US, would they? Do you think you would ever get to a point where you'd be like, call auntie in Nigeria, I'm coming back home? You think you ever get to that point?
there's part when you first brought that question, I was gonna say no because Nigeria is corrupt. Nigeria is, don't get me wrong, Nigeria is a beautiful place, but the corruption reminds me of Illinois, so probably not.
Well, you know
But
how to
then
navigate it, but you would be part. I mean, you know that you see it coming and going. I mean,
that
you
that is also true, but then again, there it's kind of like with Italians.
okay?
It's like, oh, you're Nigerian American. Oh, you don't know the language. Oh,
That's
you may have
right.
some money. You're gonna bring us back to Nigeria and think it's all perspective and things like that. So there's that. It's like, maybe I might not. I might with Nigeria. It's like, maybe not.
Okay, how much
But
worse would it have to get for you to be like, you know what? Okay, let me go and start adding up these costs. What would it take?
hmm, I would say probably it would take Nigeria's economy improving a little bit,
Okay.
and America's economy just going all the way into the toilet. Like the job market has become Edward Anderson pessimism levels of
Oh,
bad.
oh Lord, that's bad. Okay,
Yeah,
that's real
yeah,
bad.
yeah. You have to be Edward Anderson, and Sir Isms played out played out vocabulary levels of bad. That's where you say, okay, you know what, mom, call my aunties, call my uncles,
Yeah,
and yes, call the people on my dad's side.
yeah.
I want to go back home.
Okay. Well, just knowing that you have the option to do so, that you're, heads and shoulders above a lot of people.
That
I,
that that Yep.
no, I just think I don't know. I wish more Americans pursued dual citizenship. I don't care what country you select. Just have that option. Because everyone else does. Why don't you?
And the great thing is, and I'm grateful for my mom and two of my aunts for helping me get my Nigerian passport, because I was supposed to get my passport back in 2021, but unfortunately, just the timing, and also the situation at the time, I was in Club Tupac mode. But
Oh shit.
no, 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 not Club Tupac. Correction,
Oh.
Club Machiavelli
Oh, that's even worse. I don't.
situation. But but luckily, the universe gave me a second chance to go back to Nigeria, and I
Okay.
have my passport, so I can go freely as
Right
I
on. Right
please
on.
to
Right
visit
on.
family.
Okay.
And, and dang, if you had time, I was gonna address the autism thing with you.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Chime in. Because people accuse me like I'm making fun. I'm not making fun. I'm just
What?
go ahead, man. Go off on it, man.
Okay. Now, if I had my camera on, I'd put on my glasses and address your critics. Sly, you and old boy who decided to terminate the child with Down syndrome.
Oh, Jesse Woodbridge and them. Yeah.
Yes, Jesse Woodbridge. You all are not wrong, and it's not disrespecting the child or punching down on the kids. The thing that a lot of people fail to understand is that, and it was a good point that you brought up. What happens if the parent goes down?
Yeah.
If they have able siblings, that responsibility is going to go to them.
And they don't want to do that.
I mean, they don't, but they have to. That's because, unfortunately, because sometimes with family, sometimes you have to fall on the sword, and that's the part that a lot of these people don't understand. Because I I was a part of that to a certain extent. That's because I had a certain family member with special needs. Don't get me wrong. They did put some things in place, and it
Yeah.
wasn't as severe as other
Yeah.
cases, but it's still a lot of work. As make pretty much visiting them,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that their needs are taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that there isn't a turbo degenerate, so you don't go to jail
Yeah. Yeah.
and having to go Latrell Sprewell on them, or
Right.
even and even some of the cost involved. I think it's a lot, and with the family member, rest in peace. They're no longer here. It's a whole lot with the emotional toll of it,
Mm.
having to, and when they pass some of the additional work,
Okay.
because me and one other relative and God bless her, she helped me with the family member in question. We literally had to help pool in our own money, take time away from our lives to make sure that that family member was okay,
Mm-hmm.
check in at the hospital. And even though that family member was lucky to have a benefit, unfortunately, because of certain circumstances, we weren't even able to get, I wouldn't say, for lack of a better term, rewarded for that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, it was just used for funeral cost, and and I had to walk away because Illinois State Medicaid would have taken what was left of that death benefit.
Right. Right.
And I'm going to be a little bit careful with this because they're still around, and
Yeah. Of course.
I have another family member who has the Down syndrome,
Mm.
and I've seen where you don't, if you don't incorporate them into an environment that's relatable to them early,
Mm. Okay.
you are going to have yourself a hard time as an adult. That individual is going to have a hard time coming up as an adult.
Okay.
because it's like, what are you gonna do with them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've seen some of them just like sit in the house and do nothing,
Yeah.
or it's like pretty much you I'm like the parents are out here just doing their thing, and it's like you have this down individual who can't really do much because it's like they're not in a window to where they can be themselves or be involved in a group of people that care about them.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that and yes, I'm not a fan of killing babies at oh actually my apologies, I don't want to get you yellow flagged. I'm not a fan of sending babies to the pearly gates.
Yeah, but if you get a test three
On
months in, yeah, I mean, what do we?
yeah,
That's
exactly, unjustifiably.
for me,
But
it's a no brainer. But go ahead.
yeah, but the thing is, if the kid is going to suffer in the real world through defects or things like that, I'd rather terminate the child and not let it suffer
Yeah.
because and some people aren't going to like this. If you knowingly and willingly let a child live through birth defects, I think you're a selfish parent.
I agree. I agree.
And it's like go if you go through your struggle or have a frustrating moment, I'm gonna be one of those people. It's like, isn't this what you signed up for? Hey, and I'm like you had a bailout card and you chose not to use it. I'm like hey, and it's like, yeah, no bailout card for you. I'm like, go ahead.
No, no, no.
But but yeah, it's like a lot of these. But again, a whole lot of people want to have the God, and I hate this because some of my families are that way. The Christian, I'm not saying Christian, the Christian mentality, and it's like, sometimes it's like if you're not willing to pay the price or do everything necessary, then there's no real reason to let that child live.
Well, you know, is part of it ego because I it's like almost like some type of badge of honor, and I'm like, I can't see it like that. And what was the other point that I was trying to make? Uh, yeah, it seems like it's an ego feeding thing to say, look what I or part of the religion part is to suffer. Like there's this
Yes.
pride in suffering. I'm not trying to suffer, dog. Like I hear people say, God gives only his toughest warriors the toughest battles. I don't want those battles. No, thank you. I'm sorry.
I'm like, I don't believe that. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, you know what, man, you just being an asshole, just like, and cut it off. But part of it is ego, but another part of it is trying to save a face, pretty much
Okay.
on the keeping up with the Joneses tip, because you'll have outsiders. They'll say, "Oh, oh, you decided to keep your child. God bless you." Even though those
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
aren't going to do anything for you, they're
No
just
one's
going to
gonna
give you,
exactly. No one's trying to trade places with you. None of that.
yep,
None of that shit. None.
yeah,
None. I agree.
they're all they're going to give you is just verbal sympathy at best, and maybe a few trinkets and resources there,
Yeah.
as opposed to telling you like, hey, if this child is suffering a blah blah blah, I think you need to let it go and try again for a healthier one.
Okay, let me ask you this. For those parents that had children and there was no autism test that determined that it showed up 2 3 years later, delayed, whatever the case may be, and then it's like, okay, now we determine your child is on the spectrum, high, severe, level 3, level 4. What should those parents do?
Hmm. That that is a very good question. I mean, there's part of me that would say I would I would say pretty much figure out the source of how that happened and sue the ever loving crap out of them. But then again, unfortunately, I got nothing. Unfortunately, I can't really think of what what to do in that case. I would say probably. I would say there's part of would say you would have to. You're too little too deep in.
So you got to tough it
Unless
out.
and
You're too far gone. You got to tough it out.
exactly,
Oof.
or unless you're willing to say, hey, you know what, we don't want this. We're gonna adopt. We're gonna have to send them for adoption because it's a little too much.
I
But
mean, I get it. Listen. There's no for me. There's no easy answer. Especially if you're talking 2 3 years down the road, and all of a sudden they stop talking. Like we've seen a couple stories where they just start regressing. Vaccine injuries are a thing. Even if you sue the shit out of them, got all the money in the world, you still got this broken kid, and it's like this constant reminder of how broken your child is. This child will never be able to fend for itself. It will never be a contributing member of society. It's always going to need help, and you got to trust
exactly,
people at some point to do right by the child. It's just like, I ain't built for that type of stress.
exactly, and also in the words of the of Super Singer 75,
Hey, man. Hey,
um,
man, look at me.
society doesn't society shouldn't be responsible for your child or be caught in the brunt of your child's severe disability.
Well, okay, that's a perfect segue. Does society want to be bothered? From what we've gathered, now we can go back into the early 1900s, how they used to do these children, just terrible. But society's not much better.
That is true. That's because what like if they go to school, you will have kids, that'll make fun of the special ed kids.
Yeah.
You'll have them view them in a weird way, no matter what you do, whether you have them closed off, whether you have them leave the school 2 hours early, and then they go to the alpha bus.
Yeah.
Whether I mean, yes, you have some places that help them, like group homes, but then again, with group homes, they're primarily made of CNAs
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. And with CNAs, it's like they- they're like a two ego drunk. One may have, you may get like the Wayne Brady portion where it's like, hey, you get some good CNAs, or a DMX level drunk where it's like, I'm like, oh no, you're gonna get the CNAs from hell.
Yeah, my grandmother at one point, she was in a home and they dropped her. She broke her hip, and then my mom brought her home, and that's where she was until she died. She was like, "Nope, these people are going to kill my mama." And I was like, "God damn!" Like it was, what do you do? CNA
Yeah,
is a tough job, man. I don't, it's easy to bash CNAs, but that's a rough way to
yeah,
get into the medical field, man.
yes, it is. My Yes, it is. I had a couple relatives that were CNAs, so I completely understand. Like CNAs, nurses. So it's like I completely get it, and my heart goes out to them. And I will also say this too. It's no ill will against the kids or anything like
No, no, no,
that.
no, no, no,
That's
no.
because at the end of the day, it's not their fault that they had this situation. And in my younger days, I was a part of I was a part of the special ed program.
Okay,
So I've seen these things,
okay.
and and yes, there are cases, and I'll even add myself to this, where you can get out of the special ed program.
Hmm.
So it it just really depends, and it's and with some, and the sad reality is that there are some scenarios where it's like you can't really do much of anything. It's like you're stuck with it.
Yeah. Well, from what the numbers, every year there's more and more diagnosed, more and more vaccine injuries, and I think this is going to force society to have to address these children, even these adults, and you're gonna have to somehow make a way for them, create these communities for them to, you know, for the parents to have communities of parents with kids, you know, in these home settings, these communities, and find the resources to keep it funded. I just, it's just too many. It's too many of them popping up nowadays. Like it's almost like damn near 1 in 3 that your
Yeah.
kid's gonna end up like this, and it's like that's too big of a risk. You know what I'm saying? That's too much of a gamble. And I hear people say I don't want to have a kid just because I don't know if it's gonna come out right, and I get it. You know, it's a scary time we live in. So, but Club, I had you on for far too long, brethren. Any final, any final thoughts?
Well, for anyone that came here, thank you. I can't really see the chat at all, but
They doing what
and also thank you,
the chat does what the chat does, man.
exactly. uh, thank you for having me on. I'll only say these. Oh, actually, I'll only say these last two things, and then I'll go. No, 3.
Yeah, take your time.
All right. Actually, you know what? You'll probably want to time me for 5 minutes. I'll just make it quick.
Okay.
Number 1, fuck Chipotle. It's Qdoba all day. I'm not.
Wait. What Chipotle do to you, man?
First of all, Sly, I'm not going to pay for guac and why would I go to a place that charges me for guac and queso when Chipotle can give it to me and also fall for the shambles?
Qdoba ain't cheap either.
It isn't cheap, but guess what? They give me free guac. They give me free queso. I can get a buy one, get one. I heard Chipotle doesn't do that.
Free guac and queso. Oh my God. Okay. Fair enough.
Yep. I mean, Chipotle is a big lie, and you people fell for it. It's pretty much like Krispy Kreme. Y'all say Krispy Kreme is good. I'm like
Dunkin'
no,
Donuts all day. No, I don't know what a Krispy Kreme
Dunkin'
is.
Donuts
All day.
Especially with those stale donuts that y'all sell at the stores. I'm like, what in the raccoon food is this? Y'all trying to get me to eat raccoon food? Just like them bean pies? Nope. Y'all can go to your room. And any of you Chipotle people, you Krispy Kreme people, you all can go to your room. And then the second thing that I'm also going to say too, don't get me wrong, Michael Jackson's Bad is a good album, but it is still a 4th place album, all because I Can't Stop Loving You.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Okay, give me your rankings. No. We're gonna talk. Give me your rankings again, sir.
Number 1 is Off the Wall. Number 2 is Dangerous. Thriller. And I will say this: Thriller is barely number 3. That's because the omission of Carousel alone knocks it down.
You got Dangerous over Bad?
Yes. I'm sorry. The second half of the album. Don't get me wrong. Bad has great singles.
I don't, ladies and gentlemen, this man lied to me. I don't know who this dude is. He done finessed his way onto the stage show. What? You have Dangerous over Bad?
Yes, Sly. I have said this for months. I have said this to my family for years. Dangerous is a better album than Bad and a better album than Thriller. Don't get me wrong. Bad is a good album.
Oh my God, I can't believe
Bad is a good album.
I thought he was a good guy, y'all. I don't know this man.
But there's some overrated songs. I'm sorry. I Can't Stop Loving You is a severely overrated song. Bad is pretty much Thriller. Is the equivalent of Thriller. A better video than a song. And you know what? And I'm willing to die on that hill. But Sly, I will tell you this. I'll tell you this, Sly. I've always been one to change my mind because I remember I said 8 Confessions was inferior to 8701 with Usher. But then years later, as I grew up, Club grew up, and I
Before you
sent myself to
realize
my
what this.
room. I changed my mind. Or even or even with Janet Jackson's Demeter Joe album. I said that album was trash, but as I got older, it was actually a really good album. The problem is she just did a bad job with the rollout and choosing singles.
Okay, okay, that's a
So
very very good point. But I can't let the Dangerous over Bad. Man, you probably the only person I've ever heard say Dangerous is a better album than Bad.
and I'm still standing on it. And I know people in the chat are probably calling the FBI on me. You know, it's like I'm like this man is an infidel. He's talking on Super Sly's chat.
Man, this man said Danger and Dangerous is a good album, but shit, better than Bad. Oh my, no man, no, I can't. I can't roll with you on that one, bro. You on your own.
Oh, but and I'll only say these two other things that then I will get out of here. Sly went. I'm assuming you will probably will never let Truth Teller out of his 720 contract.
That was man for life, man. Shit. That shit in blood. I made him cut his hand and everything. What you talking about?
Oh, and then I'll also say this. You hip hop old heads gotta go. Please, and can we please stop letting Joe Buttons, a man who has never won a rap beef in his life, push the culture? And also, Lord Jamar is irrelevant. He's the least known member of Brand Nubian. So asking about his opinion on hip hop is pathetic.
Okay, to Lord Jamar's credit, his after rap career, I would think, has made him somewhat a semi-household name.
I mean, that
the
is
last
that
time
is
we mentioned
true.
Grand Pooba was when. I'm just saying.
Fair. I mean, that is fair, but Lord Jamar, he's pretty much like Ebro's brother. Just like stating like I'm like oh my god, I have all these opinions. I'm like,
you know what it is. I just think the older we get, and we see ourselves turn into villains because we done seen too much. We done
fair.
seen too much, you know. And I understand why guys like Jamar and say what they say. I'm just like you just live you live long enough, too long, and man. But come on, man, the thing you really listen. 10 years from now, I guarantee you'll change. And there's no way Dangerous in no shape, form, or fashion is a better album than Bad. Ain't no conceptually, sonically, there's nothing that Dangerous has on Bad, bro. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I can only tell you how I felt when that album came out. Like it's one of those what do you like you didn't. I forgot about Thriller. I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't bad, you ain't nothing. I was like, oh my
god. I mean, the Remember the Time when I first discovered the Remember the Time video, it was like
it was an event.
Exactly. It was like, I'm like, you know what? This video and this song is way better than Thriller. And it makes Thriller the Whopper Jr.
Ooh, wait now. Wait. Michael has had 3 decades of basically pioneering video format concepts with those 3 albums from Thriller to Dangerous. There was nobody visually that could touch Mike. You Remember the Time versus nope Thriller for me, because we all ran home at 7:00 to watch Thriller.
Look, I am not going to deny the Thriller impact, and yes, Thriller is a great video. The only thing I'm saying is that Remember the Time is a way better song than Thriller.
Wait. Remember the Time a better song than hell no.
Come on, Sly.
Hell no.
Come on, Sly. Really?
Wait. Take away the Thriller video, take away Remember the Time video, and just go song for song. with no videos, if you can imagine that possibly. Thriller's a better record.
No, 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 no. I mean, the only thing that you remember about Thriller is the chorus. Thriller. Remember the time,
I can
the
listen.
chorus, even the ad libs. I bet you remember.
No, Club. I can listen to Thriller's instrumental and be banging off. That shit bangs. Just take that 10-second loop of the break and just loop it, and you're good. You're good to go. You ain't got to listen to nothing else. I can't do that with Remember the Time. It's a great song, but it needed the vocals. You need the music for that to be a complete song. I can listen to Thriller instrumental and just be like, I'm vibing. I'm vibing like that. No, sir, 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 sir. In the words of my man Walt Diddy, sir, 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 sir. What the fuck?
But but I'll get this up, and then I'll go ahead and send myself to my room because of my unpopular Michael Jackson takes.
I can't believe this man.
But but the only two things I'll say to the audience is the Tether versus FBA argument.
Yeah,
is irrelevant and dumb. That's because you have sectors of people in the outside world that view both sides the same. And also, as someone who's been surrounded with both African and American culture, I respect both of us. I respect both, in which, come on, in which blacks help create the entertainment culture. I'm adult enough to say that. And then the last thing I'm going to say, screw the gender war, and also screw Ohio State. The 2001 champ, y'all cheated in the 2001 championship. I just got to say that.
well, you've been holding that. You've been holding on to that for a minute, huh?
I mean, and also Red Sings and Blues. If you're in the chat, Denny's is superior. IHOP is overrated.
Everything hands
exactly.
Down. Man,
nothing is touching the Grand Slam.
Nothing.
I went to a Waffle House several years ago because my sister lives in lives in the Atlanta area. I'm like, this isn't bad, but you know what would be better? A Grand Slam.
Club, you know how good Denny's is when they was going through all the racist shit, talking bad to black customers. We still going to Denny's. Like, fuck y'all.
Yes, it's like I'm like, lady, you looking at me really weird, but I do not care because these pancakes are too good.
Oh, listen, people out there protesting. We like, fuck. We after prom, we went to Denny's. We didn't care. We didn't care. Club Fortune, my man. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you so much, Sly. It's with everybody.
All right, bro. Have a good night.
You too.
Club tripping. He didn't mean that, y'all. He fell and he hurt his arm or something. He did not mean to say that Dangerous. What he meant to say was Bad is a better album than Dangerous. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go. I gotta go eat. Gotta get ready for House of Dragon season 3. I will come back and discuss that. So if you have HBO, get on it because when I come back, we're going to talk about it and also the movie Obsession. Finally went to go see it. There's some things that kind of stuck out to me, and so yeah, I'll be back in a couple hours. Thank y'all for coming through. I want to thank my guest Club Fortune for coming through as always, and hopefully you guys glean something useful out of this. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll catch y'all in about a couple hours. All right, until then.